We use a noise for some damage and some quick energy restoring whenever we return to the ground. Ability strength for negative 75% gravity and 60% aim glide with some defense. Strength, range, more strength, energy so we can spam abilities while flying, more range for negative 100% gravity while aim gliding, even more range, 90% aim glide. We will have even more aim glide duration and negative gravity when we get to our companion build. More strength for unlimited ammo when you get a headshot kill. You can easily get this buff from the Akarius since the rockets home in on enemies, even easier while we in the air above them since their head is the closest target. What makes this arcane so great is our primary gets the buff too. Now since it's really easy to start using his abilities and forget you have weapons, you can swap this arcane out for Arcane Avenger for a 45% crit chance when we get damage, because you will be taking damage pretty often. Or you can go with more efficiency for up to 36% ability duration so you can go grab a snack without pausing the game. Nah, don't do that, cause your AC-130 will be on center blocks when you get back and your Vauban will be looking something like this. Now if you are going to be using his weapons more than his abilities, or you don't need that much aim glide, I recommend Prime Short-Footed since both of our weapons have a large AoE. I know baby Tenno, you probably don't have this mod yet, but I got you. Use Short-Footed for 60% knockdown resistance and Fortitude for that extra 40% knockdown resistance, then boom, you got Prime Short-Footed. Our valence bonus is heat, multi-shot, damage for 240% damage, but we can't increase our fire rate. Night Watch Napalm would deal extra heat damage to enemies that survive and any enemies that walk into the area. Nice mod to have, but I'll replace this with a ribbon if you have one. Cold and status chance, toxin and more status chance, some range, more damage for a 5% chance to increase our critical damage tier, or terminal velocity for 60% projectile speed. Now if you aren't using Prime Short-Footed, you can use Cautious Shot, which gives us a 100% chance to reduce stagger effect from explosions. This will perform like Prime Short-Footed, but you will get some interruption if you're too close. Then Primary Merciless for up to 360% damage and some reload speed. Crit chance, crit damage, more crit damage. I'll replace this with a ribbon if you have one. Electricity, toxin and status chance, multi-shot, range, heat, 40% projectile speed for up to 480% damage on heat status effect. This does not require you to use the Akarius to get this buff. So since our Kuva Ogris valence bonus is heat, it's going to stack cascade your flares so the Akarius can be hot and ready to go as soon as you switch to him. These screams will never not be funny. Alright, the Telos Boltace unique trait is going to give us an extra 20% aim glide duration just for having it in our arsenal. We also get 20% bullet jump velocity, roll distance, and wall latch. We don't really need to use this weapon, but I made a build for it anyway. It also has an ability called Storm Path that pulls in enemies within 14 meters whenever you perform a slide attack. performing another slide attack with lift and ragdoll enemies. A little extra fun and defense on the ground while you resupplying your AC-130. Sovereign Outcast for our stance. I specifically chose this because the combos are quicker than Gemini Cross. Now you can go with either stance because they both allow you to remove spores off the modules easily. So when the spores grow on top of the module, all you have to do is jump, aim glide, then use your melee, which will throw it and remove the spores in a few hits. Crit chance, damage, crit damage. I'll replace this with a ribbon if you have one. For 80% damage per status affecting the target. For 80% status damage and up to 120% status chance. Toxin, heat, and more status chance. This is going to give us gas, which is really good AoE damage, right along with electricity, and melee influence is going to spread all of our statuses to even more enemies from the electricity status effect. Land, stick a time for upper scourge your ass, and take flight again. You will need a lawnmower for this build. Here's the parts. Tractor beam is where we'll get 100% more aim glide duration and negative 50% gravity. You do have to be within 20 meters of your lawnmower, meaning those legs have to keep up with you, and they can't if they keep dying. So we're going to add a lot of defense, especially since our lawnmower will just walk through any put of corrosive damage from those containers of Halvania like it's some grass to cut. And we can't forget about those blitz excrements that will one-shot your lawnmower. More defense for our warframe, radar, to add 3 extra lawnmowers, to give our legs on the ground a bunch of statuses, to let them spread those statuses to enemies, return the ground and watch all the loot come to you. Electricity and status chance, toxin and more status chance, magnetic and some extra magazine capacity, fire rate and punch through, multi-shot, status chance and up to 80% damage per status affecting the target. Cold damage is really going to help out with some crowd control. I'll replace this with a ribbon if you have one. And Shivering Contagion will spread 100% of those cold procs to freeze almost everything. We're going to go with 3 red shards for ability strength, 1 yellow shard for casting speed, and 1 orange shard for 75% secondary crit chance when we kill enemies affected with heat status. You don't have to kill enemies with your secondary to get this buff. It can be activated from the heat on our primary or from our lawnmower if it gets a heat status effect from the Momentous Bond mod. As always, these are all optional, so add whichever shards you want. Appreciate y'all for watching. Like the video and subscribe. I'm heading back to the lab to see what else I can cook up for y'all. Peace.
Enemy AC-130 above.